Massive news was just confirmed by Elon Musk for Tesla. It all started with Marcus Brownlee criticizing Tesla. Nope, wireless charging has a massive heat waste. A really noble goal for something like this would be maybe 75% efficiency for Tesla's wireless charging. And then the Tesla account itself actually replied to Marcus Brownlee saying efficiency is well above 90%. And Elon himself also confirms this. There is no meaningful efficiency difference between inductive and conductive charging if the system is designed right. There's always an inductor somewhere in the charge circuit. So it does turn out that smartphone and wireless charging for EVs have some key differences. This is definitely great news for us long-term Tesla stock investors as well as customers. I am looking forward to never having to plug in my Tesla ever again. If Tesla can deploy this at scale, then this is breakthrough technology. And you know that Marcus Brownlee earlier made a bet to shave his head if his prediction is not true about robotaxi. Well, I think this is becoming a poster at Tesla that's likely to become actually that reality in the next few years. I am pretty sure though that one of the reasons why Tesla is able to have such great efficiency is because the charging speed is going to be relatively slow, only 25 kilowatts. So many people are saying that 25 kilowatts is too slow, but you also have to remember that the Cybercab will have a 50% smaller battery than a Model Y, and 25 kilowatts is nearly 2.2 times faster than Tesla's home wall connector, and there will be plenty of Model 3s and Model Ys in the robotaxi fleet, and these cars can charge fast. 95% of all taxi trips are shorter than 10 miles, but I think looking at this number is a bit misleading actually, because the reason why that's true is because taxis are ridiculously expensive, so it's stupid to take a taxi and go on a 100-mile ride. But some people actually still do it. For example, 11 years ago, I was in Scotland. I was visiting my mentor. He lives in the Guthrie Castle, and that ride was quite long from the airport over there because it's in a pretty remote location, and I paid about $300 for the ride, and that was 11 years ago. And I guarantee that the moment robotaxis come out and the prices really come down, the average trip is no longer going to be 2.1 miles. It's going to be substantially longer. Sawyer predicts that the Cybercab will be able to fully charge within 2 hours. And of course, Cybercab not having a physical charging port will lower costs and will make it easier to manufacture, but is this really the right decision in the long term? Now, Tesla actually released this video and you can see one important detail. Charging at 25 kilowatts with 56 minutes remaining to 100%. Back of the napkin math puts it at about 40 kilowatt hour battery. Yeah, this is pretty much precise math because you can see the charge percentage and you can see the speed and you can see exactly how long you have before the battery fully charges. However, you have to remember that when the battery gets really full, the speed is likely going to slow down a little bit. So this math is not going to be perfectly accurate, but it does give us a pretty good idea of what to expect. And yeah, the limiting factor account actually thinks that the actual max output later should be more, but he doesn't expect more than 40 to 50 kilowatts. He's a battery expert, so I consider him as very credible when it comes to the subject. He also expects the Cybercab to have efficiency of 6 miles per kilowatt hour. With everything going on with Tesla right now, I saw Gally from Hyperchange and Dylan Loomis from Electrify say that right now, they are more excited about Tesla's long-term potential than ever before. And now knowing that Tesla is able to just operate the bot without teleoperating it, that is also making me very, very, very bullish in the long term about Tesla stock. I'm not making any short-term predictions though, but I am saying that in the next 5 to 10 years, I believe there's going to be an explosion when it comes to Tesla stock price. So those of us who stay in the stock and are patient will be greatly rewarded. I believe that 100%. Oh, Warren Redlick actually observed one more thing. So in that video, the charging rate was rising to 25 kilowatts in the video, but the video cuts off at 25. So the rate of charging actually is likely already faster than 25 kilowatts. And by the way, do you remember in the Master Plan 3, there was a little sentence from Tesla saying that there's going to be a vehicle with 53 kilowatt hours, and people were speculating maybe that's going to be the Model 2, or now people can speculate maybe that's what Cybercab. And if they do achieve 6 miles per kilowatt hour, that's over 300 miles of range. I think Tesla now is sandbagging. I think there's a shift in how Tesla approaches everything going forward. There were also some concerns from some people who didn't go to the We Robot event saying that the Cybercab is actually too small, but look at this rapper 2 Chainz. He is 6'5", very tall, and he fits in the Cybercab without any issues. So even some basketball players will fit in there comfortably. There's this big YouTuber, Jerry Rig Everything. He's skeptical about the wireless charging technology from Tesla. So many wireless charging experts on the internet today. Of course, an unreleased product in laboratory settings can achieve some amazing results, but I've seen how some of y'all park, and I'm not convinced those numbers translate to real life. I'll be testing it myself in 2040. Well, the good thing about wireless charging is Tesla will park for you. Also, when it comes to Jerry Rig Everything, he got some serious backlash before about Teslas. It's not like his credibility is high, which is why this comment got so many likes. Wow. Also, what do you think is harder? Is it harder for Tesla to figure out how to get a robotaxi parked precisely so it charges correctly with wireless charging, or for SpaceX to catch basically a massive building, landing, and then catch it with chopsticks in the air? What do you think is harder? I bet the SpaceX achievement was a lot harder, and it's already real, it's already happening. And here's something that we really need to know. In mid-2023, Tesla bought a German wireless EV charging company for $76 million. And if you go to their website, they claim that they achieved 93% wireless charging efficiency with a 40mm position tolerance. And now Tesla is deploying this technology, confirming that efficiency is well over 90%, and all of that actually really checks out. I was a bit skeptical though how fast and quickly that technology could really be used effectively by Tesla, because if you remember back in 2019, Tesla acquired Maxwell Technologies, and that was really supposed to help Tesla with batteries, but it's been taking a while. But having direct confirmation from Tesla and Elon Musk, that changes everything. Until now, we haven't really heard anything about that wireless technology from Tesla or from Elon Musk. So do not underestimate the importance of this news. This is big news for long-term Tesla stock investors. In the short term, I don't think people will really consider this as really important, but in the long term, this really does matter. And this is actually big news too. If this happens, this would exceed my expectations actually for Tesla. According to the news, Giga Shanghai will start producing the closed loop of the new Model Y next week. Initial production won't be much though, but it's actually starting. This is based on local media reports in China. By a closed loop, Tesla Chan means that, for example, employees cannot bring in any electronics, so no one can record anything, no one can really show anything to anyone outside of Tesla, and even within Tesla, they don't want this to be shared because this is important. Sales are at stake. This news was originally shared by a Chinese car blogger on Weibo. Keep in mind though that production will start very slowly at just 12 vehicles per day, and I heard a rumor that about 10 vehicles have already been produced. Tesla before made it very clear that it is not planning to release this vehicle before the end of the year, and I think I believe that. Previous supply chain reports would suggest that we should see a refresh in Q1 of next year. And going back to the Model 3 refresh, I remember seeing reports starting to come out like this about 4 to 5 months before the actual car was released to the public. We have also seen the refresh Model Y in Europe and in North America, but not in China. And no one has seen it yet. Not maybe necessarily because Tesla hasn't deployed it in China yet, but because maybe they just did such a good job of camouflaging it. Because if you remember the refresh Model Y that was spotted in Europe, that one was spotted at night, so it was really difficult to spot. I'm sure the refresh Model 3 will boost Tesla sales at least by a little bit, but in China, the Model Y is still doing so well. Whoa, Gene Munster made some bullish remarks here about Tesla. I've done more work on the impact of the Wii robot and left with 2 key takeaways. This is going to take longer than most people think and be bigger than most people expect. I'm okay with taking longer than expected, especially if the end result is going to be much better than originally expected. Look, from mainstream analysts, you are getting headlines like this already. The FSD waiting game is worth the wait. There's a shift happening with some analysts. Some are already admitting that Tesla is going to win the FSD race. Auto-related deaths have increased each of the past 11 years since iPhone went mainstream by 2.5%. The idea that autonomous vehicles are unsafe largely stems from the media's emphasis on the few tragic accidents resulting in injuries or death. But these autonomous systems will only continue to improve. They will not get worse. There's also one correction here from Brandon Sandel. The idea that autonomous vehicles are are unsafe largely stems from the media's hate of Elon Musk and their attempt to hurt his companies. Very true. Tesla's ASS is so attractive, people can't resist yelling at it. It's really good marketing. This is perfect for Tesla. Here's a fellow Canadian from Vancouver, and this is a 1-hour drive on FSD. I don't see any interventions here really. And I myself, I have been driving here in Vancouver City. The latest version, I probably have about 100 miles on it now. I had interventions on it, but nothing safety related. So no critical interventions. It's usually because, let's say, I know a car is likely to turn left. Let's say there are 2 lanes and one is likely to turn left and it's an intersection and there are cars coming. So the car somehow just picks that lane and I would like to be on the right lane because then I know I can just go faster instead of getting stuck waiting for that car to turn left while all the cars just drive by. That has happened a few times. So I just intervene in situations like that. So I personally, I like the latest version. There are some mixed reviews though. So some people are really loving it. Some people, I've seen a few people that actually prefer 12.3.6 over the new one.
You can see cars coming in here. There's a big truck coming in. Oh my God, how are we gonna take this exit? Oh my God, look at this. Just merging on top of each other and there's the exit. Oof, we could very easily miss this. But no, this is FSD. Wow. That was great. Did you see that? That car had to merge in. We had to get over here. I thought for sure we were going to miss it.
There's an article from Drive Tesla Canada about Tesla's FSD deployment in China. We know that Tesla earlier was aiming for the first quarter of 2025 when it comes to deployment of FSD in China. But Drive Tesla Canada says that might be shifting. Tesla currently is waiting for permission to collect additional video data and have direct access to train the autopilot system. Supposedly, the holdup is related to data security concerns. One workaround Tesla has proposed is for a government team to assess the video data before releasing it to Tesla. I'm not sure I really like that idea because you are basically definitely giving access to the data to potential competition that could eventually own or have access to Tesla's data. Unless, of course, you have 100% trust in the Chinese government, then there's nothing to worry about. The Chinese government is apparently willing to do a partial approval to test trial select FSD functions in some Chinese cities. Now, this report has not been confirmed by the Chinese officials or Tesla, so this is a rumor, but I think this rumor is pretty credible. But China is not as important for Tesla as the US is. Level 4 fully autonomous vehicles actually are not that far away from being approved in the US when we are talking about regulatory challenges specifically. Most states are ready to allow full self-autonomy as soon as it's ready. Here's the full map showing where it's already been sort of authorized already. One more things, ideally, this should be regulated at the federal level because you get approval once and you can drive anywhere. But I like the state-by-state approach because I think that will allow Tesla to deploy robotaxis much faster. There's always going to be some state somewhere in the US that just wants Tesla's business. Whoa, well, this is getting almost out of control. Do you remember the Uber CEO not too long ago being so skeptical about Tesla, and recently he changed his tune? But check this out. He double down. The journalist said, I don't want to get into an autonomous Tesla in the next 5 years. I'm not going to be an early adopter. But the Uber CEO replied that FSD is getting pretty good. Have you used it recently? It's really good. Elon has accomplished the unimaginable many times. I wouldn't bet against him. Well, sort of. By being the CEO of Uber, he is betting against Elon Musk. Unless, and this is a big if, unless the CEO of Uber figures out how to work together with Tesla, which to some extent actually might be possible. Tesla said that they will sell robotaxis to individual people, so Uber, in theory, probably could just buy these Teslas. But will Tesla allow Uber to deploy these robotaxis within the Uber network, or will it have some terms and conditions which will state, if you want to use the robotaxi to earn money, you have to use our network, our app, where we will take a juicy percentage from every single dollar you generate. He continues, if they develop their own autonomous vehicle and decide to go direct only through the Tesla app, they would be a competitor. If they decided to work with us, then we would be a partner. Both can be true. I think Elon's vision is pretty compelling. He already knows he's gonna be in deep trouble. Here's another CEO that's trying to cozy up to Tesla and Elon Musk. The CEO of Salesforce is hinting at a possible Tesla partnership, and specifically he's interested in Optimus serving customers. Robot Force, he says. Can you imagine a future where Agent Force and robots like Tesla Optimus empower every customer touchpoint built on the foundation of Salesforce? So big names are getting behind Tesla here. Now, I like Marcus Brownlee. I watched many of his videos about smartphones and stuff like that, but 3 years ago, he said, there's no good reason I can think of for a humanoid robot to exist out there in people's hands anyway. But hey, it makes a lot of good headlines. That just reminds me of stuff like this. There's no need for any individual to have a computer in their home. President of Digital Equipment Corporation, 1977. Oof. To say that there is no need for the Tesla bot, I think is just so silly. Now, to say, will Tesla actually accomplish it? That's a whole different conversation. I think that's a more valid conversation, but to say that people wouldn't use a Tesla bot? Oh, come on. Do you really like doing your laundry? Washing your dirty underwear? Are you really in love doing the dishes? Are you a big fan of mowing the lawn? Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh, I'm so looking forward to tomorrow cleaning every single toilet diligently in the house? I think I made my point clear enough. People will want the Tesla bots. It will only be a question of, can I get one, not do I want one. Ooh, check this out. A Cybertruck was spotted on public roads in Germany. So there has to be some way to get the Cybertruck approved in Europe, because I mean, it's already on the road. I'm sure there's some sort of exception for the Cybertruck, but hey, look, if you can get an exception, there has to be a way to also sell it to the public. You gotta love this about Tesla. Tesla installed a fork in the road at Giga, Texas, which potentially indicates that Tesla is now an AI robotics company, not just an EV company, which we have already known for a long time. Elon himself also commented on this. This reminds me of Elon Musk carrying a sink into Twitter's headquarters. This is a statement, and Elon delivered on that statement with Twitter. Now it's X. More active users than ever before, which is the most important thing in the long term. Of course, advertising revenue is down, but that's only a short-term problem. The long-term problem is getting more users to use the platform more often. Many people right now don't believe in Elon Musk's vision in the long term, but this is where the real money can be made. If everyone agreed that, oh, Elon Musk is definitely going to deliver, there would be no money to make with Tesla stock, because everyone will already be in and there would be no room for Wall Street or institutions to buy in. Everyone would already own it. But there's so much skepticism around Elon Musk and Tesla. This is an opportunity for all of us Tesla stock retail investors. Ooh, the headlights of the refreshed Model Y are expected to be similar to those of the Cybercab. This is a picture of the Cybercab, not the refreshed Model Y, but we will start hearing a lot more rumors and probably not really many pictures for a little bit about the Model Y. So expect the headlights to look something like this. Now, this rumor has been out for a little bit now. We have seen the back of the Model Y, but we didn't know really about the front. So it could look like this. What do you think? I sort of like it. I really like what Elon Musk said here. We should not trust the government, even if I'm in the government. Don't trust the government. Elon Musk is also giving a lot of money to people that sign his petition. It's not about voting, but it's about the amendments of the US Constitution. You basically just have to sign that you believe in these amendments. This is definitely relevant for us Tesla stock investors. Elon Musk was asked if he would run for president. And Elon replied, but there would have to be a constitutional amendment for me to run, but I don't want to be president. I want to build rockets and cars. So that's good. I personally definitely want Elon Musk to stay the CEO of Tesla for decades, if possible. Elon Musk was also asked, why hasn't Tesla bought Rivian? I wish them the best. He said, I hope they do well. The car industry is a very difficult industry. There's only 2 US car companies that haven't gone bankrupt, and that's Ford and Tesla. Rivian's going to have a hard time. It's insanely difficult to compete in the car industry if it were not for 2 technology discontinuities. one being electrification and the other being autonomy, I think Tesla could not succeed without solving both. The Tesla stock investor community appreciated this question, which asked, is Elon's support of his political candidate, isn't that damaging Tesla's brand and sales? And here's how Elon answered this question. Tesla sales are actually doing great. We're hitting all-time highs. Technically, that's true. I think people really care about the quality of the product as opposed to whether they agree or disagree with the CEO's views. The CEO of any given company is going to have political views, although most CEOs, they just don't state their views publicly. At the end of the day, what matters is Tesla making a great product or not? And people do like buying great products. I have to agree with Dylan here. Not sure flat sales year over year is great, but it's definitely a tough auto market for most companies. For example, did you see Stellantis? Their sales are down double digits year over year. So Elon Musk answered that question a bit like a politician. He's getting ready for the job in the government. Overall, though, I think Elon Musk is doing a very good job for Tesla in the long term. FSD, there's progress being made there. The Tesla bot, there's definitely a lot of progress being made there quickly. And I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk being at Tesla speeds up Tesla solving FSD. But also think about this. When Tesla solves FSD, regulatory approval, that could slow Tesla down a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a major issue. But if Elon is in the government leading DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, do you think Tesla will have an easier time getting government approvals? Absolutely yes, it's going to be definitely easier. So those people that are still so worried about getting regulatory approvals, they should see Elon Musk being in the government as a positive thing. I don't really think approvals will be an issue, but will this help with getting faster approvals? Yes. Tesla's Q3 earnings will be this Wednesday, and here are the most popular questions that will be asked on the earnings call. Number one, is Tesla still on track to deliver the more affordable model next year, as mentioned by Elon earlier, and how does that align with your AI and product roadmap? The second question is, when can we expect Tesla to give us the $25,000 non-robotaxi regular car model? So basically the same questions. I think that car is important in the short term for the stock, but in the long term, what really matters is Tesla solving FSD. So I sort of care about it, but the thing that I care about the most is FSD. Next question, what is Tesla doing to alleviate long waiting times on service centers? I want to know the answer to this one. When will Tesla incorporate X and Grok in all of the Tesla vehicles? I want to be able to talk to my car and the car have character as well and sort of talk back to me in a funny way. That would be so entertaining if I have passengers in the car. What's going on with the Tesla Roadster? I don't really care about it, but sure, it's fun to know. Now, this is more important. Please provide an update on the Tesla Semi. What will the next stage of growth look like, and when will FSD be ready? And then what's the plan for 2025? I really care about the Tesla Semi, so I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. Can we get more details surrounding the robotaxi, including how will Tesla deploy the fleet? Will it start with robotaxi, then move on to a subscription model if you own your own Tesla? I think Elon would have shared everything he wanted to share by now during the Robot event, so I don't expect to hear more details here really. I think Elon wants to stay flexible with his plans of robotaxi. He just knows if we solve full self-driving and make it safer than human driving, there's so much potential. If he promises something very specific right now, then he has to follow through, and then people could say, oh, he didn't deliver on this very tiny specific thing. So I think he would just rather not say much about it. Now, I'm curious to know the answer to this question. Elon mentioned unsupervised FSD in California and Texas next year. Does that mean regulators have agreed to it in the entire state for existing hardware 3 and hardware 4 vehicles? I think probably not yet, but I want to hear how far the talks have gone so far. What is the expected timeline on Robovan production? I'm curious about this one. And when will Optimus begin shipping? I'm curious to hear about this one. I just want to know more updates about the Optimus bot, and we have seen a new video earlier from Tesla showing that the Optimus bot can navigate the surroundings autonomously without being tele-operated. Then there are a few questions about Tesla's insurance. I want to hear more about this. Can you provide some clarity on the energy generation storage business in the light of rapidly increasing power demand? And I want to hear a bit more about what's happening in China with the new factory that's being built out. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video later this week. Thank you so much for watching.